I always feel so good and so refreshed when we hear that song. GM. Everybody, hope you're feeling well. It is Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. You know, the closer we get to noon, the closer you get to the weekend. Because once you hit like, the afternoon on a Wednesday, the rest of the week is just downhill, man. Like you're working for the weekend at that point. So once you get to lunch break today, you made the hump. That's why we call it Hump Day. It's not because it's the time to have sex with your partner. It's because it's the hump that gets you over the top of the week. If that makes sense. GM. Turbo, what's going on, man? How are you? I see that you are in the space, but not on the stream. Is your computer having issues still?
Bro, I plug in this lamp. It's on my desk here at the hotel, and I turn the lamp on, and it just like fried my computer.
Oh no!
Like I can't do anything. Like I can't get it to do anything right now. So I'm feeling a little of that anxiety. Like the reality that this thing might have just like torched my computer. I don't know. But you know what? Who cares, man? It's Wednesday. It's Web3 Breakfast. I really hope that people take this hour, right, of the show. And like whatever you got going on in your life, if you got some bills that are due, you know what I'm saying? Your car ain't running right. You might have some little hiccups. Man, forget about that shit for this next hour. It'll still be there, after this show's over. Let's take this time to just enjoy each other's company, continue to expand our minds, be a part of an incredible conversation, because those are the things that we need, man. So shouts out to all of y'all for that.
Okay. Love that. Make sure that you also retweet the space out. Make sure that we get some more folks in here. So today I want to talk about, yesterday I was having a conversation with Ben and we were looking at some of the Socialfi platforms. So that's what I want to get into today. Obviously, I've been on Stars Arena since before their hack. Right when it launched, Dougie Doug got us in on that one. I got to try two other ones, New Bitcoin City, and then this Friend Tech one that I don't really know, but obviously it's the biggest of the three. I'm honestly more interested in Stars Arena because of Avalanche. I want to like really get into the whole AVAX community, learn more about it, and see what they got going on. I mean, Friend Tech is Ethereum based. I believe New Bitcoin City is Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I got to do some research onto that one. But this is what we're doing right now. We're researching projects and platforms. We were talking about that game that's on a Minecraft server yesterday, doing play to earn with Ethereum. So I mean, if this is the kind of stuff that floats your boat, man, make sure you take your notes. I got my notepad here. Look at this. So when we get into the conversation, Socialfi 1025, taking notes. That's what I've started doing, is taking notes on these shows. One, it helps, like, if I need to go back and remember something or recall something, I can do that. I'm a decent note taker. I'm not, like the legalese guy who would, take a whole book with the notes, but I'm gonna take some notes. Plus, also I can use that to go back, after the show and shoot some short form content based on what we're talking about, ask some engaging questions, get some engagement back so that we can keep the conversation going. Because once these spaces end, the conversation ends, and we want to make sure that we can find ways to keep them going. So if we keep putting the content out there and we can engage with people and ask questions and have questions come back, that just further builds what we're trying to accomplish here. So GM.
Well, I can tell you, Jay, on this conversation, man, I'm not happy about this whole like Socialfi. I think that it's a slippery slope. I think we needed to shut it down right now. There's no sense in moving forward with it, because this shit is not going to be healthy for the masses. Like, I think that it's going to be something that's just going to be really bad. We're already seeing the breakdown with the social grooming, as far as like with the social media platforms that are here now. And now we're starting to move it into a monetary, the effects that it's going to have on people's mental health and their well-being. It's just not worth it, Jay. But I'm going to save my comments until we jump into it.
Hey, all right. I mean, we could jump right into it. As I do want to say, shout out. I got a message this morning from someone in our community going through something in their family. So you know who you are. Shout out for you, man. Sending positive vibes into the environment, into the atmosphere. So if you guys can make sure, if that's something that you do, send the positive vibes to one of our friends here at the Web3 Breakfast. AI love. What's up, G?
How are y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Great day to all. I hope it's been a phenomenal one as the markets are coming down from this little bit of form of speculation and what I view as a heavy form of manipulation. That might need to be looked into. But who's going to look into the number one asset manager in the world? No one, absolutely no one. That's who's going to look into it.
How the, how the,
Um,
how's the SEC going to come out now and charge him $2.5 million? Like, I mean, this just
Come
it
on.
seems like the SEC is like fading themselves out of like relevance, and like they're just doing some dumb shit. Like, is Gary like is he trying to make every enemy on his way out? Like, what is happening?
I mean, look, Gary Gennett was flooding Bitcoin because he wanted to get all his bags pumped up, and he's buying and accumulating Bitcoin at very, very low prices. So it makes a lot of sense for someone that has this financial awareness, the connections, is in the insider conversations and talks, sees where things are heading on a global scale to kind of push this sort of narrative. It will work in his favor, right? It works in the favor of people that you are connected to or you're in association with. If you have information that other people don't have, and I can use and I can leverage that to my benefit and to the benefit of those that I associate with, right? And this is what we constantly see happening in our current political standings globally. It's not just here in the United States, all across every single last form of governing body has to deal with these levels of interference from these corporate entities, and this is what they do.
Well, what are you going to do about it? What do we do about this AI? How do you change
So far, I like
it?
I, I, unlike Turbo made it here, I am a strong advocate for socialized finance and platforms of these natures.
Mhm.
Inherently, this is where I see the shift happening to where I say it, and I said it at the beginning of the year. Everyone will have their own native asset according to whatever chain that they're interacting with, and it'll be a store of value for that individual. So, social fi platforms are just what we're transitioning to in general. If you look at the fractionalization and tokenization of the technology.
Yep. No, I'm with you. In kind of looking at all these things and articles about Socialfi and all that. I'm with you. I'm on the camp of like this is a really good thing. I've been saying now for a while that social media, as we know it, needs to change. Like it needs a total overhaul, and I think this might be it. Right? It needs to be more of that community engagement hub style, where people get together for very specific reasons. Whereas right now I would say it's just like a big hodgepodge where everybody's competing for attention. Like whether I had a conversation with someone the other day about this stuff, and whether you like certain things happening in social media or not. Like at the end of the day, like what what field are we in? We're in the attention economy. So by getting attention, you've done your job, right? Good or bad. Like in our business, all press is good press. Like if you're doing it, you're doing it. And so while I understand that social media to some extent, like things like TikTok has ruined attention spans. You've got internet trolls and all that stuff. Like while I understand, social media again, as we know it, has failed us, failed society. I think with the reimagination of SoFi and how we build this out, and whether it's token, a lot more token gating, and then now you can make sure that the people that are there with you in your community are there for a purpose versus just happening to stumble upon it and either want to FUD the bags or cause a ruckus, because trolls will be trolls. I mean, we know that trolls be
Well,
trolling.
and Jay, you be trolling, man.
We be
Forget the trolling.
trolling.
Hey, do you
Yeah,
what's your trolls like?
we
I'm
we
gonna ask you that, Jay Chains. You in
we don't
turn.
have trolls.
Y'all don't have trolls. I have trolls. I have trolls left and right. I know y'all got trolls. I know Jay Chains got trolls.
You know what?
We got hackers.
Here's yeah. Here's what you do. Is once you kind of figure out like the angles that the trolls take at you, you just mute words, right? Once you start muting words, then things don't even show up in your timeline. So that's one way that if you do have trolls, man, you start muting the things that they say, and then they just falls on deaf ears.
Yeah, ignoring them's the best, man. People hate that. You know what I'm saying? All the trolls trying to do is get attention. You know what I'm saying? So when you take away the one thing that they're trying to get, they're just going to keep it moving. They're going to go in and just troll somebody that's going to play their game. You know, and speaking of time, you know, when we look at the amount of time that people spend on each of these, on each of the social platforms, take the top 4, for instance, right? YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You know, YouTube is pulling 48.7 minutes on average a day of someone's time. Twitter is 34.1 minutes. Instagram is 33, and Facebook is 30 minutes, which is mind blowing, right? Because we didn't see that. No. I mean, like, because before when we look back at the beginning of Pinterest,
fake news.
Because Pinterest was really the very first platform that was able to begin to capture people's time. When the internet was like first coming out and people were getting on web pages and stuff, we were seeing about an average like 45 seconds that people were spending on these different websites and stuff. And when Pinterest came out, we saw it go to 3 minutes. Then it went to 5, 10, 15, and you know, now we're looking at these platforms being able to hold people's attention for 30 minutes at a time. I mean, from a consumer or from a big business standpoint, if you can get somebody to spend 30 minutes on your website, you're going to be doing very, very well.
Well,
you know, like,
okay, now think about, and that's why you know, Web3 platforms probably have a leg advantage over a lot of other things. It's 9:14 in the morning where I'm at. 9:14. You said if they can get you on the platform for 30 minutes, they're doing fantastic. It is 9:14 in the morning where I'm at, and I've had an hour and 33 minutes on Twitter or X this morning alone. An hour and 33 just so far, right? And the day is just beginning. So, you know, I think that there is some recipe to what you're saying, and there is a huge opportunity. The problem is the money, right? Like the biggest hurdle that we're going to see, and no matter how cool the platform is and how much you get rewarded, you know, I joined Stars Arena, and like that first day, you know, I had like 15 AVAX or whatever it was, right? Or, you know, so like it was super cool, and like now it's like, you know, you work on the grind and all that stuff to, you know, to build up on the platform, which I think is one of the hardest things that you'll ever have to do is if you have, you know, a platform established and then you hop to a new one and you have to begin all over again, like that's frustrating, right? And so I think, you know, once we figure out which one of these social platforms, these Socialfi platforms that is going to take the reins, you know, that's where then, you know, we'll see a lot of people shift their focus to, and that's where you start building, because you literally can't, like, again, an hour and a half on Twitter, where would I have time to put else onto another platform at 9:14 in the morning? You know what I mean? Like, you don't, as a creator, and it's different, right? As a creator, like the whole point is to create more than you consume. And, you know, that's how you know that you're a content creator, is when you spend more time creating than consuming. And I think that, you know, once we get to this point and we figure out, again, which platform is going to be the one, take the reins, that's where we jump and we start putting the focus. But right now it's just who's building what.
yeah. And AI, I know you got your hand up, baby. I'm gonna pass it right over to you. I just want to make this quick point that goes to my argument about why these platforms are so doggone bad, right? Because Jay and I got on at the same time. We're both handsome. You know what I'm saying? We both have a lot to bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? And he got 16 AVAX, and I only got one. I only got one AVAX, and I think Seven only got like 0.6 AVAX. So now it's easy to see what the hierarchy is here.
I have
you
3
know,
AVAX, dude.
Huh?
I got 3 AVAX.
I might have made that up, but listen, all I'm saying is it allows for people to point at things that are falsely measurable, because that doesn't truly. I mean, is there true information to take from that?
No.
That
Yeah, there is, man. Listen, that's ridiculous, Turbo. Okay, it's like, okay, I'll give you a prime example: group projects and participation. Right? Like, I had this conversation with you the other day, and I said, dude, I don't give people rewards and brownie points for being a part of the group and not participate. No, that's not how this game fucking works. What, you think life is about free rides, bro? No, life is about composing a body of work, which is why we got the term master's degree. It comes from creating a masterpiece by your apprentice, which means that whoever you studied up under, you studied well enough that you can actually mimic or mock their style, right, or to their approval. So, you know, where I look at the social demeanor, yes, these interactions, people place values on Elon Musk. Look the amount of value we derive from them. From space satellites, electric vehicles, social media changing platform applications, integrating a blockchain technology, forefront of AI innovation, things that are actually going to impact future generations, right? And so therefore his social credit score is going to be higher. Now does that say that someone is less of a person or their views or takes aren't as important? No, absolutely not. What it does say is that their intent for conducting a body of work, my degree is higher than the next person's, right? And that's why you move up in these social rankings. So I know plenty of intellectual individuals that just don't open their mouth. I'm dealing with one right now, right? What can you do about that?
I mean, but AI, here's the thing though, right? Like this is where I'm saying the problem is, right? Is that inside, like as a leader, if you have different experiences, like if you don't allow these things to affect you, right? But there is a whole generation of people who rely on these numbers, who have only come up in the like or dislike, era. You know what I'm saying? Like for us, that's on the stage right now, we're all old enough that like that didn't exist, right? Like you
Hot or not,
only
dude.
had your
Hot or not.
oh, okay, hot or not? Yeah, that's
Hot or
true, man.
not.
I did well on
Who
hot or not.
remembers that?
Just about to say,
Throw me some thumbs up. Throw me some thumbs up if you remember that website, hotornot.com.
Turbo, you're sounding like a dinosaur here. I'm gonna have to get you some geriatric shoes because it's relatively outdated. I'm just saying. Look, I get where you're coming from, but the technology is building towards this being a creator's market. So yes, the opinionated views of individuals that are around you, right? This is why controlling the narrative of who you are, and better yet, what it is that you're doing is relatively important. This is why, people that are creating content are in control. Content creators are making more money than rappers. Content makes $400,000 a month off his Twitch stream alone, no endorsements, just views.
Just add revenue from the platform.
The world is transitioning. Even Hollywood has come to the recollection that, hey, no longer can we afford to generate these massive budgets because look at the technology that they're putting in the hands of the user and consumer. Mm-hmm. I can cut the video I made. Yes, I know nothing about editing. I've just been tinkering around with this little CapCut shit. And bro, I'm able to do things like remove the background, put Charles in the video, animate Charles, slide him across the screen. All this stuff that where you needed teams of individuals to produce media content, you no longer need. Yeah. So we're shifting into the content creators market. You got to adjust to the times or you're going to get left behind.
No, I can't agree with you on that, AI. I can't agree from that aspect, right? Because here's the other problem I was thinking about the other day, right? How do we determine value at this point, right? Because when we look at things like music production, right? Because that was a big one that came up. When we think about music production, back in the day, you had to go to you had to go to a recording booth. You had to, do all these things. The vinyl had to be pressed. Like there was all of these steps that had to be accomplished that was able to point at the value of whatever that thing was. But now, right, like we have digital art and we have, all these editing tools and AI and all these things that's making it not only faster, but it's putting that power into every single person's hand. So what is the value? Now we add on top of this a Socialfi that says like that now, I get to say, okay, well, these people all say that my value is X amount of dollars. And so, the information that I put out holds a higher weight as far as like truth or reality and trust, right? Because that's what they're measuring, right? If I see that Jay's ticket is 20 AVAX and I see that mine's 1 AVAX, then automatically it automatically puts that assumption that, well, he must have more value. It must be more trust there, right? Even though he might not, right? Like if we look at TikTok and these doggone live streams, I don't know if you guys have done that, Jay. I don't know if you've seen this
so
shit or
good.
not.
Yum.
Yeah,
so good.
Dude. That I'm like, this is crazy.
The fact that people watch that shit and pay for it is like, you got to be a bozo to just sit there and watch that shit for hours.
I mean, listen, dude, if you know about the underworld of sex trade, that is the least bit shocking to me at all. Like, and that's where things get real finicky and weird, right? Like people have these weird impulsive obsessions that they idolize and they it's like they're controlled under and sad. But it's a part of the human psychology, right? And to that degree, I don't think there's much we can do to change it. Not when the tech is there. It'd be different if there was no phones, if there was no but the tech is here, bro. So this is just human psychology via digital interaction.
Now, do you think, looking at or kind of thinking about your example that you gave, Turbo, like, pressing a record and say the reach that you had with it. And you talk about value, right? And value is obviously attained through a lot of different measures. But so using that, pressing a record model is that, you're, back in the day, like, distribution was very, very hard. So you probably were limited to just that local area. Whereas now, like with this digital, like, so now we think about expanding the concept of this tech. Now, yes, anybody can create music any, very easily. As long as you have a microphone, you can do it with your phone, you can do it with your computer, you can do it with anything, right? But the value there is, what does somebody think? You see a lot of people that put some bullshit music out, and people will pump their ego and say it's good, even though it's not. But at the end of the day, just because I think a song isn't good doesn't mean that you think the same thing, right? You might actually see the value in there. And because we've allowed this technology to take us to the next level, that exposure for this artist is greater now than, when it was back when they were pressing records. So, it's like that same kind of thing. Like, this gives people more of an ability to have their voice be heard. And the people whose voices are heard generally are hopefully saying the right thing. Or, I mean, I say that and I hear myself say that, and then I know that a lot of people are just bullshit. I mean, you give someone a microphone and that doesn't need a microphone, and sometimes you might just hear bullshit. AI, what do you? No, go ahead, Trevor.
Go ahead.
Yeah, true life facts, right? Like, but look, here's the funny thing, Jay Chains, people buy bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I was just thinking to myself today, I said, bro, in sales, if I was just honest, 110% honest with the client in sales, I would lose every sale. People buy lies. They don't buy the truth. You know what I'm saying? Why do you think Takashi was able
they buy the dream,
to
right?
reach? They buy the dream. They buy the illustration. They buy the vision. It's the aesthetics. This is why when I listen, and I'm deeply hurt by the urban community, because when I listen to hip hop music, it's the most detrimental form of communication that we can have as a social interaction and engagement with each other, but it's the most dominant form of communication that is appreciated, right? Because everybody wants to do the things that they can't fucking do, right? The bad things in life. And people buy the bullshit. People buy the lies. Mm-hmm. It's just like the whole thing with the
But you're literally making my case about the Socialfi and why this model and this platform isn't going to be a good model for the space.
But this is a different model. This is a different model. That's the thing.
And that's a negative, right? Like, we're not highlighting the positives, right? And then this all about the narrative, which I always tell people. I say, what's the most important thing? It's not the pumps, it's not the dumps, it's the narrative of the space, right? Because that sets the tone for individuals. That we don't even need regulation, we just need to set the narrative. Bro, if you're not hitting this, and this, we're not buying your shit. And guess what? Now nobody can scam. But because there's no narrative being set, or the narrative is so loosely to chase bags, what winds up happening? People wind up listening to these pump-ass influencers. They know, they don't know. I know because I'm not even at 10K and they fucking offer me 100,000. So I can only imagine what they're doing to some of these people with, 500,000 followers, 1 million followers, hosting spaces. Bro, are you kidding me? Like, we gotta stop and have a reality check with ourselves. And then when people get in positions, they gotta be open and honest about what it is that they're experiencing, right? So that the narrative amongst everybody else, or the collective thought, can start to change. If someone, I was in a position of where, I was hosting a space and someone said, don't let this individual up. And I said, hey, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not about that, right? I believe in decentralization. And if someone wants to speak value in their opinion, so I'll let the individual up. But there are pockets and communities of individuals that utilize this platform, and they leverage this platform to their advantage on the back end, and they're confusing everybody on the front end.
Yeah, I mean, the social engineering aspect of it, like, I get that. Like, that sucks, because people will fall prey to that 100% of the time, right? Because that's just the nature of it. And I think, Turbo, you could understand that from the psychology level. And so I think a lot of people do. And, that to me is probably the one thing that if we could make that change, that would be the one place where I think we'd want to start.
Well, and I think too, we got 3 minutes coming up here. Well, 2 minutes now till we get ready to do our midpoint workout, guys. So if you haven't done so, make sure you grab your dumbbells, get your yoga mats, whatever it is, get prepared. But Jay, I think, one of the things that we might, it might be beneficial is to kind of talk a little bit about, what is the Socialfi model, right? Like, what is it? You know what I'm saying? Because I guess I have, I have this concept in my mind, right? And I'm looking at it from a very biased place of that, just not wanting, honestly, I don't really want it. I don't want another measuring tool where people are measuring against other people, especially now adding a level of, a monetary value behind that, because it degrades and takes away from individuals who do not have the mental and emotional capacity to be able to take this, who are constantly looking for these indicators of reassurance that they're doing something in life or that they're valuable, right? I hate that, but it's inevitable. So I think if we take some time and maybe we come back after the workout, give everybody an opportunity to think about, what that model is, what we believe it is. Definitely hit the request the mic, come up here, be a part of the conversation. We only got but one rule, Jay. I don't even think we've even went over that yet. If you want to hit them with the rule, that'd be great.
Yeah. So if you guys
don't be a douchebag.
That's it, man. Casually knows the thing. No racist, no sexist, no homophobes. Other than that, everybody is welcome to come up on the stage here and speak at Web3 Breakfast. So make sure that you guys tap in. Yeah, it's a workout break, and I love that. And our question when we get back from the workout break, or if you don't want to work out, maybe you're feeling a little lazy today, that's all right. No shame. It'll just be a music break for you then.
Shame.
Shame.
Nah, definitely shame.
Shame.
Yeah,
Get up out of your seat. You can stand up. If nothing else, just stand up. Keep the circulation flowing. Let's get right to it. I'm going to do push-ups today. I'm going to be doing some push-ups.
Me too. I'm working on that upper body, shoulders again. Yeah, guys. So make sure that you retweet the space. Get on up. Got to have that healthy minds, healthy body, and a healthy portfolio. So this is the workout break. And when we get back, we're going to be talking about what is Socialfi? What does this even mean? So that we can break that down, and then we'll take it the next step forward. Let's go. Golly.
I got eggs, bacon, waffles, toast. Eggs, bacon, waffles, toast. Eggs, bacon, waffles, toast. Web3 Breakfast, Jay James is the host. Good morning. What's up, Jay James? Turbo made it co-hosting. Yeah, they do their thing. If you savvy Web3 GM, grab a plate and a seat. Let's begin. If you got something to say, come and grab a mic.
Let's go. This is your opportunity. Come on, one more.
Bring
Either you make excuses, make it results. Come on.
To the end. Retweet the room. Bring some friends. If you start to talk, you gon' stay to the end. Monday through Friday, we got the Soro. 10 a.m. Eastern Spaces with the purpose. All about the community focus. They deserve it. Come and speak your mind with no regrets, but you serve us. Pizza on Friday, working off midway. Get the blood pumping. Web3 music is thumping. I got eggs, bacon, waffles, toast. Eggs, bacon, waffles, toast. Eggs, bacon, waffles, toast. Web3 Breakfast, Jay James is the host with the most. Retweet the room, bring some friends. If you start to talk, you gon' stay to the end. Retweet the room, bring some friends. If you start to talk, you gon' stay to the end. Good morning.
Oh, yeah. Good morning is right. Grand rising. I'm out of breath from doing push-ups, man. Woo!
Hey, they look good, man. Continuing to get strong, continuing to keeping it moving, getting better. And that's what it's about. Every day. You ain't said this in a minute, Jay. 1% better every day.
You know what's fun is I did get to drop it yesterday. I co-hosted the Mario space. There was like 4,400 people on it. And I did get to talk about that. And so I got to talk about our show. And I did get to drop be 1% better at the end. And hopefully it resonated with a lot of people.
And I apologize. I missed it, man. I had set my reminder, but this bathroom, bro, I'm like coming down to the end. This is like the big brain part, like where I have to like do all the math and I got to get everything square. And I got to take this room that was, built a long time ago with a plumbing, just the whole thing, right?
Yeah, the finish work.
Yeah. It's hard to be able to do anything else. Like it is just the mental exhaustion is way worse than physical exhaustion times 1,000. So, but shouts out to everybody for being here, guys. Thank you so much. It's Web3 Breakfast. We do this every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. You are a part of the Web3 Breakfast Club. If you are in the building, that's what it's all about. So feel free to grab a mic, And we are talking about what is Socialfi.
Yep.
What is it, Jay? Like, how do you see it? What is that ecosystem? How is it supposed to work, in your opinion?
So Socialfi is basically the concept is to reward the creators for providing content to the platform for people to consume, right? So it's the monetization, the incentivization for creating content. Now I know, platforms have been doing this for a while. YouTube, you can earn your ad revenue. On Twitter now, you can earn revenue if you get over your 5 million impressions, and then you start to earn on whatever your impressions are. So people have been earning on platforms, but the whole idea is that this is like with Socialfi, I could, like, if I like your content, I could pay you for it. I could say, here's a tip, or I can buy access to, your tokens or whatever, depending on whatever platform is and whatever they call it. So like, with Stars Arena, like you can buy access, and now you've got the, the DM chat that you're in with somebody, right? Like you buy access, like it rewards the creator for putting out their content, and consumers, not only the platforms, are the ones that pay for that.
What's the utility? No, I'm just kidding. It sounds like, it sounds like we're trying to be our own NFT projects, right? Like that was, wasn't that what we do? Like with the NFTs, like you buy in, you join this community, it gets you access into like a Discord or something, and then we grow all together, right? I think the biggest problem in that whole model is that you are now the individual, right? And now if you're building this community, it's all centered around you, which stifles innovation and growth, and people, like to me, again, it comes back to just strictly creating a group of followers instead of leaders, instead of encouraging people.
Leaders will lead. Leaders will find their way to lead.
Bosses link with bosses, bro. Just think about. All right, I'll put it to you like this. You know what the dream team is? The dream team, the basketball.
Yeah,
come on, man. Michael Jordan. Hey, Michael Jordan was the dream team, baby. Shout out to the Bulls.
Dream team was like what everybody in NBA always like fantasize to watch the sport. They fantasize about, because it's like what all the best teams have got to offer, right? And it's the best position, the best players in the best positions. Even the bench is stacked up. Okay. Now, why is this something that's unique? Well, because traditionally when we play NBA games, they're one-on-ones. We play underneath a team, right? So Stephen Curry is not playing on the same team as LeBron James, right? Okay. Now, why is this important when I'm saying the future and Socialfi, and why groups of leaders and individuals collectively? Because now we'll be able to assemble the brightest minds from great groups of projects that they worked on, where you can see their social credit score. They're now able to collaborate, and now it brings essential value to what it is that they're working on, right? So imagine Elon, Tim Cook, and fucking Zuckerberg all working together. That social credit points are going to collectively pair up together. Oh, they're working on a project, and that's going to bring value to whatever it is that they're working on. This is the freedom of people to move about and interact with each other without being locked down to these megalithic entities. I think that that's a very bright future for it.
Yeah, bro, I'm with you 1000% on that part, right? Where my concern is, right, is like with the dream team, right? Mm-hmm. You use that as an example. Like we can go and look at how many 3-pointers were made. We can look at how many assists, how many passes. They use all this information to gather that team together, right? With the Socialfi, it's simply just putting up, like I put my profile up. There's no verification of who I am or who the people are that are supporting me or any of these things, right? There's no verification. When the consumer comes in and they see these huge scores, right, that also comes with huge trust, right, to what that person's saying. And there's no way to verify that that's actually what's happening or not. That's what I'm saying. The issue is it's not necessarily the best. A lot of times, even in this space, right?
Hold on.
Well, hang on, real quick. I'll make this last point. I'll pass it right to you. The thing is that we see it in this space. How many people, influencers that sit at the top in this space that don't know shit and add no value? They were first. They weren't the best. That's the issue.
Well, look, I mean, first
be better than them and rise up to. I'm not, exactly. You know what I mean? Like that's what you got to do. That's the game.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing, right? Like, it's your job. So if someone is better, if I know I'm better than somebody, it's my job to outperform them. And through my work of performance, it'll show. And this is how the credit score is accumulated. Blockchain technology is the record. If I'm a part of something, if everything is on the blockchain, and everything that we do is traceable. So you'll have that verification metrics. It's all about the any forms of information or data that you want to sort through. You'll be able to see, how did this person perform when it comes to marketing? How did they perform when it comes to sale? What about their public speaking? What about what was their physical effort? Were they there? Were they present? Proof of attendance? All of this shit is interacting with each other to create a history, a record of who you are, right? So to me, I would have to disagree to that extent, right? I do see it being problematic if there's no structure behind the entities that are coming together. If it remains like it is here with Twitter, and there's no like, okay, this is the tech department, this is the music department, right? The bodies are working with each other in collaborative efforts and measures, and right, and information is being funneled and channeled. Then it's very problematic. But if it's used in that aspect that I'm talking about, to where it's actually a tool of empowerment, because now we can get the resources that we need, right? If I'm not a public speaker and I'm a dev, but I got an amazing project, I need a fork. Okay, that allows for that. It's like a recruiting platform and an interaction social platform all in one. That to me seems to be the wave of the future. I don't know. I might be wrong.
I almost feel like, and when I listen Turbo, and like this is fun banter and debate here, but when I hear your argument, I almost feel like, and we'll use something, a mild substance versus, a little bit more of a hardcore drug. But let's use weed for the example, right? I feel like the example is you saying, well, I don't like weed, so no one's allowed to smoke weed, versus like, the idea of what we're saying with the platform is like, maybe I don't smoke, but I know people are, so I'm going to grow some weed. I'm going to grow a lot of it, and I'm just going to make sure that everybody has whatever they need. And, even though it's not for me, I know they're going to use it and consume it. And, trolls will be trolls, and, people with platforms will be people with platforms, all that stuff, all the examples. But you just do it anyway, right? Like, because that's just where it's going. Even if we are resistant to change, we don't like the idea. I firmly do believe that integrating what we're doing into the blockchain, and maybe the verification is the biggest hurdle. I would like to see that change. And I know, our friends at like MetaRides, like what the things that they've got to do, because they're building games and things for different countries and different parts of the world. And so with that, there's different restrictions and different things, like depending on where you go. And so I would love to get to the point where your identity has to be proven in order to participate. But I do understand the anonymity of it. I do understand the need to, to remain anonymous to some degree. However, to access certain checkpoints or token gates, whatever, like maybe there are points where it is absolutely necessary for you to verify your identity, if that's maybe the biggest hurdle. I don't know.
Well, I would definitely say, weed probably is a great example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if we look back at the beginnings of weed, right, and hemp and all of the things, right, paper, ropes, textiles, the THC, the CBD, the oils. I mean, you're talking about a plant that could be used in its entirety, right? And so, yeah, I can see what you're saying, right? Like how they said, like they were like, well, if it's bad, so it's bad, and they just completely got rid of it, right? And there's probably some other arguments in there in the cotton industry and things like that that could have played effect, right? But outside of all that, I definitely hear your case, and I feel for you there too. I just think that we really, we just have to be more mindful, man, like of what's truly at stake, right? For the mental health and well-being. That is the one problem in this space, that we are not, we don't spend nowhere near enough time, not even just in this space, across all spaces, right? At IRL, Web2, corporations, dude, we are not putting enough emphasis and time into mental health and putting in taking actions to ensure that we are putting in safety measures and things like that to protect people, right? And that's where I'm more on the side that there's not enough good from this type of interaction. Mm-hmm. That for me, that I think that it's something that we should use. I think that it's going to cause way more issues, and we're going to see a lot more problems across the board because of things like because of ecosystems that are built like this.
Well, okay, so maybe ecosystems are built like this, and this is, you know, we're funneling through the system as we're supposed to. But you know, I can speak for me in particular. As you know, as I go through the process and the platforms and the audiences and the stages get bigger and all this stuff, like as long as we are true to who we are, the people that we are, that will resonate, and we pick people up along the way with us, right? And so now, while the platforms are not as large as they are, but you got to think, you know, all the people that are going to come into this ecosystem, and they may start to ride with us. And then all of a sudden, you know, this collective voice of positivity, mental health matters, all these things, now it starts to amplify. So, you know, the more people that we get on board to the positivity train that we're driving, the better off, you know, that I think the ecosystem could be. And are we going to save the world? Fuck no, we're not going to save the world, but we can save the world. We can save the world from the touch points that we have. We can save the people that experience the message and experience like this community, this group, the ethos of, you know, everybody collaborating and trying to get better. But I mean, man, I feel for you.
I know, man. I know, bro. I know. And, you know, and look, and two, you know, like it's a struggle for me too, you know, like, you know, going to war, you know, being in Iraq and being in Afghanistan, you know, I wasn't a combat soldier. I was a logistician. I just happened to talk a lot of shit. And so when we got overseas, you know, my leader was like, hey, we need another patrol set. Like, you're a badass. You're on patrols. And I was like, not me. I'm supply. I'm not supposed to be out here. And they were like, nope, you're going. And so I didn't take the same conditioning, right? The same training that goes in to prepare someone for what you have to do at war, right? Like, that is a mental thing that they go through. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like in my entire patrol set was in the same set, right? We were all non-combat arms, soft skill MOSs, right? So we were all in the same boat. So when we were over there, bro, we were truly hearts and minds because these were just normal people. Right. Like for me, like, and I can speak for myself, and my patrol set was really good about it too. Right. We really were about hearts and minds. We really were, because for me, it was like, damn, like, I don't know what I'm doing over here. I know I don't have a say, but if I can just affect the lives of two sons, because at that time I had two sons, then I did my job. Right. Like, and so now, you know, coming back and having those experiences and looking at what we're doing in Web3 and these things, and yeah, there's no bullets and hopefully no one's going to die in those things there. We have the same ability to affect and move nations, you know what I'm saying, without violence and crime. I just think that some of these things that are built, the tools, it's like the nuclear bomb, right? Like, did we ever really need to invent that? Should we have moved forward in inventing that? You know, some people say yes, some people say no, right? And it's the same thing in these products. Are there going to be products that come along in the Web3 that we just shouldn't mess with, right? We should just leave it to be. I mean, what do you think about that, Jay?
Would that be considered like the God complex or whatever? Like, should I create something that, you know, the weapon of mass destruction? Should I create, you know, the nuclear option, stuff like that? You know, it depends on what kind of sociopath you are and what opportunities you have. You know, like people say like, oh, you know, I can build this, you know, this Web3 product that could nuke the market. Well, why would you? Why would you do that? You know, just because you can? Well, that seems silly. You know, why would you destroy something just to destroy something? That's just the mentality of hopefully very few people. That's the exception to the rule, right? Like, I think that we can't build things for the exception to the rule.
I think even Tesla built a death ray that could like shoot 200 miles like across the bandwidth of and just using energy on the planet, but he never actually, I don't think he built it, but he did have plans to build it. Like, he was like, oh fuck, I'm tampering with stuff like the Tesla coil was already crazy, and he was starting to like hone in on it, and he was like, whoa, I think I'm going too far. He didn't even know I didn't construct it. But, you know, the government has that stuff, so that's kind of scary. So,
and I know this is different, but, you know, like those direct energy weapons that were like all over the news, you know, everything, like, is that something that should have been created? I would probably argue no, it should not have. Like, what would be the point of it? Like, what do you need that for? And I get, you know, there are wars and all that stuff, but, you know, this, obviously we've veered completely off the topic of social media platforms.
We're still on because I mean, yeah, I mean, we've just slided the conversation obviously to one very far extreme, right? We just have to kind of bring it back in, right? Like back to that place. Okay, what are the benefits of Socialfi, right? And like I think some of the benefits that I've pulled away, being able to walk away with, is the fact that it gives the ability to give creators the opportunity to monetize and own their own content, to be able to monetize and say what their things are valued at. I think that that's one thing that Socialfi gives, right? Because I mean, let's be honest, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, every freaking doggone button that you accept, right, is taking your data, the greatest commodity ever to ever exist, and still is up there, and we don't talk about it as much as we should, right? But they're making millions and billions and trillions of dollars off of your data, right? So we should have an ability to be able to monetize and own some of that and take back some of that revenue that's rightfully ours. And I think that it also gives the ability to create communities for people to set up leadership and to be able to have their people and to say, hey, this is things I'm important of, and I'm with all of that 100%. The problem that I have with all of the with where this market really is that it leaves too many false indicators to what value of knowledge and information that can't truly be measured. There's no way to truly measure this thing of value that people will hold so high in regard. Oh my God, like this person on Friendtech is X amount of Ethereum, or this person's on this platform and it's X amount of whatever that thing is. This person must know everything, right? And we will naturally put them in a higher place because that's the confirmation bias, right? Like if just like when you see someone in a doctor's coat, you believe them to be a doctor. How many times have you went to the doctor and asked the doctor to see his certificate or anything that proves that he's an actual doctor? Never. You know what I'm saying? I still am a personal trainer. I mean, I have all my certifications. No one ever asked me to see them, right? They just automatically look at me. They hear me say a couple things. They're like, well, damn, this dude must know what he's talking about. I could deliver complete shit and no one would know because everyone just assumes that confirmation bias based on the surroundings and the things that are going on that what I'm saying is true. That's where my issue is in the Socialfi. And to bring it back to that nuclear thing, do we need this? Is this the way that we move forward, or do we need to take this concept, maybe take it back to the drawing board a little bit, tweak it up a little bit, and find some other ways to put in some parameters on the left and right to kind of protect everyone, both the user and both the content creator and the user. Man, I've seen so many people in this space who have completely lost their mental and emotional health to the point where they've lost hundreds of pounds, like completely to the point of suicide. These people, because of the love and the hate that you get, the duality of the space.
But why doesn't it? But why doesn't it happen to everybody? I mean, is that just? And listen, don't take this the wrong way, please, anybody, when I say this. And maybe I'm struggling for words, so I'll use a character flaw. And don't rake me over the coals for this, please. But like, is that the character flaw of the person who then loses that weight, who goes over the edge, who maybe talks suicide, all that stuff? Because look, there's people like, there's many of us, like including myself, that spend hours and hours and hours. Again, remember, an hour and a half at 9:15 in the morning on Twitter alone, right? And there's other platforms that I'm on that we have to do things on. And so, like, I spend my life much to like all of us in Web3, much to the detriment of the people in like our regular lives. Like, we are online all the time because that's just part of the gig. But it doesn't. But it does. Do we go through burnout? Yes, and it's all about how you manage it. That is a self-managing thing. You have to be able to manage yourself if you want to succeed in this game. And if it's the strong survive, it's the strong survive. Like, it's an evolutionary thing. Like, if you can't hack it, just go back to consuming content. And there's no shame in that. And I don't mean to be an asshole when I say that, but that just means that it wasn't cut out for you. If you can't handle it, that's it.
Well, and what you're talking about, and Walt Diz, man, I'll definitely get you. We'll pass it right over to you after this. What you're talking about is theory of mind.
Okay.
Right. Theory of mind says that we use our experiences, the things that in our world, the experience that we've had, the different things that have affected our life, to be able to assume and infer how someone else will think, act, and move forward, right? When in reality, like, every person is different. We are very fortunate in the sense of, like, in our leadership style and where we are as far as like an emotional maturity, to be able to say, hey, you know what, like this ain't for me, I'm gonna leave, or hey, you know what, like this isn't my conversation, I'm gonna go somewhere else. So this isn't my community, right? But other people don't have that same ability. And we are coming down to those last 7 minutes. Definitely want to pass to these hands. Walt Diz in the building. What's up, baby? How you doing?
It's so good to see you guys. Awesome conversation. The one thing I can say is people get so addicted to, going on X, going on Spaces and stuff like that. They start to neglect certain things in their life. I'm totally guilty of it. And I kind of caught myself putting things that were very important to me that I put way higher than, social media off to the wayside. So I had to put myself in check, and it's always good. If you don't have a good core group of friends, even if it's on X, if you are not surrounding yourself with a good core group of friends that really do give a crap about your mental state and have the ability to give you those hard conversations to say, bro, I think you should probably take a break. And, everybody says touch grass, but a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I touch grass, and they like go outside for 2 seconds. No, you really need a day to decompress and like go. We're not supposed to be staring at our screens. Go outside. Like I live in Tennessee. Go to the mountains, or if you're in Florida or something, go to the beach or there's a park. Go walk in the park or something. It is good for your health. And taking in all this information and stuff, our brains aren't made to do that. So you do have to have those decompressions.
Absolutely, 100%. I've said this actually for a number of years now, and at what point, because you had to think before internet and all that stuff, like it would take somebody literally a lifetime to amass the knowledge that we have at the tip of a finger, right? Like we literally, when do our brains explode going on overdrive saying like too much input? Like what was his name? Johnny Five from
Danger Will Robinson. Danger Will Robinson.
Need
Johnny
input.
Five is alive.
Yeah, Johnny Five alive. Short Circuit.
Read my books. That's one of my favorite movies.
All
Jay
time,
Chains.
dude. Favorites of all time. Johnny Five alive.
Turbo doesn't know any movies. Why didn't you warn me about this, man? I'm always making a movie reference, and Turbo's like, I haven't seen that movie. I'm like, oh my gosh, bro, I need a new Web3 best friend.
Welcome to my life. Welcome to my life.
Yeah, bro. Walt, that was just 74K. 74K, yes. What's wrong? Why you didn't warn me about this, man? It's like, I'm the movie. Like everything I do is a reference to a movie. Because
Did we just
movies
become best friends?
Yes, Walt. I ain't miss you, Walt. I can't wait to see you. You going to Miami again? Am I going to run
Yeah, I'm
into
going to pick you up
out
on the side of the road. We'll get an Uber.
New York? I was like, Walt, what are you doing in this dark alley here? And why do you have a suitcase?
Yeah, Walt, what the hell, man? You were gonna get mugged, bro. Like you were hankering for a mugging.
I just checked out of my hotel, and I was heading over to Cristiano's, and I picked up AI and Bruce Banner.
Yeah, and me, Bruce Banner, and who else? Jubbs. Oh, and then dig this. Here goes the funny part. So then I hop in the Uber with Walt, right? And me and Luca, Pudgy Pink was Luca. Me and Luca fucking were like going at it back and forth all day, right? Like we kept running into each other. And then all of a sudden, I fucking run into him with a nice end, and he's like, yo, come hang out with me. And I was just looking at my gang, and I was like, this is a tough decision, but I'm gonna have to take a strong pass. I'm rocking with the fam, man. So we rode off into the sunset.
And that's it, man.
Better than me. Man, what a what a conversation.
There's no way it's over.
Dog, this is
why Socialfi will win, Turbo. Win.
Nope, we're shut.
Okay, stop being a dinosaur. He's been a dinosaur this morning, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta show him the future.
It's my forehead. Do you see this, Jay?
You still got the chemical burn from the
talking
time.
about how big his forehead.
Oh my god!
Did you see him as a kid? How big his forehead was? And I was like, "Yo,
I'm
bro,
dying.
with a forehead like that, you gotta have some strong core muscle."
I am not gonna. It is on the thumbnail here. So I am gonna have to just tell you about this really quick. Speaking of, I changed up the design of the thumbnail for the show, and I texted Turbo like, man, this was probably like 10 minutes before the show
Olin
starts.
Mills.
I'm like, bro, I need a photo of you. And I tell him like, this is what he sends me something. I'm like, no, I need it. That's way too small. And don't take out the background. And I need like more of your torso. And so he sends me this thing a couple minutes later, and I'm already like under the gun because I can't put the show onto YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter until I got the thumbnail loaded. So I'm like, bro, send me something. And he sends me this photo. It's like a glamour shot of him like elbow on the bathroom counter with like cheese dick smile. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing to me? It ended up being all right. We used it for the thumbnail. But I was like, bro, we got to take some shots and get some poses going. So that's
bro. In that moment, dog. At the moment that you sent back and said that we have to get more poses, I said, bro, 1,000%, because I was looking through my photos and I'm like, yo, I don't have anything. He's like, yo, just take a picture now. I'm like, yo, you're a freaking super genius. I have a camera. I'm just snap a photo real quick. I have like nowhere in this gloomy ass, broke down ass hotel I'm staying in. This thing is raggedy as shit. And the bathroom is nice. You know what I'm saying? It's got the LED light around me. I'm like, yo, I'm going to go in here. Then I couldn't get the right angle because my phone's falling down. I know Jay's over there like a grizzly bear beating on the table. And she's like, I need this photo. I'm like, oh, my God. So I just snapped this glamour shot. And you know what? I'm going to post it so everybody can enjoy it. Because you know what? That shit is funny, bro.
absolutely
That shit's real funny.
I also, if you check in the chat, just posted that cheesy smile he was talking about. We were down and we went to the casino and he had this like GQ covered. Turbo is like the perfect action hero. Let me tell you, he's like him and Jay Chains. You can strike matches off of their face like in the fucking Cowboys.
That's grit. That's called grit, baby. And I hope you get a little bit of that today. All right, time to start building some grit, baby, because the bull market's coming soon. So shout out to you guys for being here. Thank you so much. This was a great show. We'll be back tomorrow.
Jay,
yo,
what's the conclusion
of what?
so far? In or out?
Oh, baby, we're in. We're all the way in. So we talked about you got Friend Tech, you got Stars Arena, New Bitcoin City. The goal is to get a rep from each one of those platforms on the show. Let's have conversations. Maybe all at the same time, maybe separate. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But the goal is to keep talking about it, man, because this is the future, whether we like it or not, Turbocito. It is the future. So make sure you guys come back in the future. That being tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, for more Web3 Breakfast. Adios, amigos. See you tomorrow.